For my favorite Derelict, this is a story of a girl who gets isekai'd into her favorite book. She assumes the role of a background character and starts following around one of the male leads, which is her favorite character. Honestly, everyone would do the same in her position, even I would. But back to the story, she plays her part in the story thinking that she will return back to reality once it's finished. But let's be honest, this is isekai. She has as much chance of returning to reality as Thorfinn does seeing his dad again. She spends her years in the world becoming better towards the crown prince and princess due to their treatment of her favorite character, Cal. She reads the papers about Cal's suicide attempts over and over again, then runs to him one day accidentally and takes him home with her. She leaves Cal at home to grab groceries, but this is a huge mistake because when she returns, she just sees his lifeless body next to a suicide note. And after that, her life starts falling apart. Well, to be honest, her life was already falling apart since Estia couldn't go back home anyways. But it got even worse now her favorite character is dead. She spends the rest of her days going to a temple and asking God why he or she took Cal away from her. She collapses and wakes back up in the past where the novel of the story finishes at the crown prince and princess getting married. And now, with the opportunity presented to her, Hestia realizes this is her only chance to save Cal. She sees this opportunity and barges into Cal's house, asking him to marry her. He agrees because he just doesn't care anymore. He really just gave him life because of a girl. But Hestia is in prime real estate. She did something that most of you couldn't do if your life depended on it, which is get your husband to marry you. Most of you can't even do that in your own dreams. But even though she got the yes, she needs to convince the head butler that she's not a menace and trying to do harm to Cal. He wants to know how she knew that Cal was going to kill himself, and she said she can see visions of the future, referring to her knowledge of the novel. Of course, the butler would not believe this because what sane person would? So Hestia said Cal was planning giving a ring, or a pink diamond ring, to a ratchet bitch named Diane. Side note, that last part was paraphrased. This allows her to stay the night and sign a marriage certificate in the morning. And this is where she goes to work as a wife. Just saying, guys, you can take Elsa to right here. The first thing she does is go to a church to get her husband's land back. But this is easier said than done because they didn't believe that she was the Marquis's wife when she got there. And to be fair, they had some pretty good reasons, like Cal still not being over Diane. So she bribes the guards and demands to meet with the high priest, but they gave her someone who's lower rankings to verify who she is first. Because honestly, some random woman named Esther came here saying, "I'm here to get my land back," I would be skeptical as well. After verifying her identity, the head priest meets with her and gives some bullshit excuse on why she can't give the land back. After hearing this, she threatens the church, saying that she'll leak what they did to the press. The priest still isn't budging, and Hestia threatens to get the emperor involved. He caves in. Personally, I wouldn't lose a mind game like this. The crazy part is that she had no evidence whatsoever. She was bluffing, and they took the bait. All she knew is they had some bit of insecurities because she read the novel. Back at the manor, she returns with the deed planning on telling Cal when he's more familiar with her. But the next morning, she is flustered with the excitement and nervousness went because Cal summoned her and asked her, "Why are you doing all this?" Plain and simply. For point, because he doesn't know this woman and she's currently an enigma. So Hestia admits that she's doing this because she hates the crown prince and princess for the way they treated Cal and wants to get back at them. Cal, being somewhat intrigued, asks Hestia to deal with the crown prince and princess since she already caught their attention, and he's curious how this will end. Hestia tells Eros about her plan to take on the crown prince and princess, so he and the other maids get Hestia ready to meet them, and when they get there, Diana asks if they had met before. Of course she did meet her in another timeline, but she's not going to tell her that, seeing how hypocritical she was, but this will be important later on. After Hestia proves that she's married to Cal, the prince condemns her from her rude behavior towards the church, but Hestia explains the land was never for the church and that they were abusing her power, and it's fair to take it back since Diane married the crown prince instead, so it was null and void. This shuts him up pretty fast, but hell, the crown prince responds with, why you of all people, when he could have married anyone else? This is when she brings up that she can see the future, and I love seeing the panic on Diane's face when she realized that she isn't the only other special person out there. And to rub salt in the wound, she made a prediction about a thief being caught in the capital a few days later. So after coming home and telling Cal what happened, he felt thankful to Diane for returning the land back to him. So he said to Hestia, "I would like to express my gratitude towards you." But Hestia, being Hestia, starts to think all type of things, but then stops and asks to meet with Madame Harmonia so she can be her private teacher. Madame Harmonia is a close acquaintance of Diane, and Cal is uneasy about her asking this. But the reason why Hestia is asking for her, because she's the only other noble nice to Diane, even though she was a commoner. And she also helped her navigate through the political landscape of being a noble. So really this is a 4D chef move. So Cal ends up just granting her request. So she sets up a meeting with Madame Harmonia at her residence so as not to seem as arrogant as the other nobles. This is where the fun part begins. Hestia wants to win her over, so she begins to use her acting skills and balls her eyes out and explains why she needs Madame Harmonia since she doesn't quite understand high society. Hestia is realizing that Madame is hesitating and she asks why, and the Madame responds with, "I'm just curious how you and Cal got together." And just like a tired college student, she just bullshitty answer, which satisfies Madame Harmonia since she's a bit of a romantic. From here on out, Hestia's predictions start coming true, which causes Hal to meet with Cal in secret. He is still suspicious of Hestia, and this causes Cal to break down since he's still mentally unstable. And as Cal is telling Hestia all this, he realizes he should be more honest with himself, and it's all thanks to Hestia. Later on, Hestia gets an invitation from Count Arenas for a tea party, and she's a bit nervous because she doesn't know much about Countess from the novel, other than the fact that she has a big mouth. So she has no information on her whatsoever. And I know this is a little bit sidetracked, but like what I found most enjoyable about the webtoons are like the highlights, are chibi forms of Hestia, and are just little shenanigans. I just feel like it's always funny and well timed. But besides the point, Madame's advice to Hestia to win them over is to be polite and shy and tell them what they want to hear. So now at the tea party, she does her thing and flatter the other women. She was a protest in her previous life before getting isekai, being a corporate work slave. The ladies proceed to ask her how she became the Marquis's wife, and she basically told them the same thing she told Madame Harmonia. So basically everything's in the palm of her hand until one asks, "How do you feel about Kale's past love?" which she merely replies with, "His lordship requires her a past acquaintanceship." I'd like to thank anyone who came to watch today. I really appreciate the support. I could talk about this webtoon day in and day out, but I had to leave it off here for today since the video is taking too long. And until next time.